Hey guys, how you doing? Credit Shuffle here. So I trust everyone has seen the horrifying footage of a passenger who refused to voluntarily give up his seat, getting kicked off of a United flight. He literally gets beaten the crap out of. It's pretty shocking. And it's caused a storm all over the world. We won't show the footage again. I trust everyone's seen it. But today we're going to be talking about how to avoid getting kicked off of a flight when an airline overbooks or needs seats to transport staff to another airport. That's what happened in the case of the United flight. They needed 4 seats for staff who were working on a flight that was departing from another airport, and they had to get them over there. So they needed to use some of the seats on the plane. So first of all, at the time of booking, obviously, if you're booking business class or first class, you're much less likely to get kicked off because you're going to be, higher up on the list of priority, sort of priority list. It's normally people in economy who get kicked out, or it's not unheard of. I did read a report of one person who did get kicked out of first class to make way for someone else who was considered a real high-level VIP, like maybe, the top tier of elite status, and took priority when business class or first class was totally booked, but it's much, much more rare. So if you're booking economy, but most people fly economy, right? Most people who don't have huge amounts of money, or their company's not paying, they fly economy. So when you book economy, don't book the absolute cheapest fare. Now, some airlines just have one fare for economy, but many airlines will give you different fares for different types of economy tickets. When I went to Hong Kong recently, I flew Cathay Pacific Economy, and they actually gave me 3 fare options. I did not book the cheapest one, I booked the middle one. I paid about $970 for my ticket. The cheapest one, I think, was about $800, and the most expensive one, fully flexible, was about $1,200 or something like that. I booked the middle one, which gave me a bit more priority over people who had booked the very lowest fare. And, airlines will rank you. If they have to kick people off a flight, they have to choose who is going to be kicked off that flight because it's full. They're going to look at, who is in what class. And economy is actually split into several different ticket classes. The service that you get is the same, although generally people who've paid more and are in a higher ticket class will be sat more towards the front of the economy class cabin, but the service they receive is still basically the same. But the airline will use this in determining who is qualified to be on the flight if it's overbooked, and they'll kick out the people in the lower, what's considered a lower class and the lower price of tickets. So that's what you can do at the time of booking. Don't book the absolute cheapest ticket. Then also, when you check in early. If there's an online check-in available, check in online. For example, British Airways, they open up their online check-in 24 hours before the flight. I always check in exactly 24 hours before. With British Airways, they let you choose your seat for free at that time as well, so I always check in at that time to make sure I get a good seat. But the other effect of that is you've checked in early, so you're considered, these are all things that are going to go in your favor, if your flight is overbooked. Then in addition to all that, if you're a member of the airline's loyalty or frequent flyer program, you are going to be viewed as more important by the airline than someone who is not. And likewise, if you are a higher tier in the frequent flyer program, like say you've got a silver card or a gold card, you're going to be viewed as more important. Silver cards will be viewed as more important. People who are just the basic level of membership, gold cards will take priority over silver. So try to become part of a frequent flyer program for the airline that you're flying on. If you don't fly enough, just having the basic card will already rank you as more important than people who don't have any loyalty program status at all. But if you're able to fly a lot on the same airline, then you're going to build up status with that airline. So if you fly a lot, be smart about it. Don't always fly different airlines. If there is an option of always flying the same airline, do it, because then you can build up status and then you get preferential treatment. If you don't fly enough or you don't spend enough money with an airline to really build up that status, because many of the airlines use a price-based chart now. It's got really, really complicated. You can actually, there are credit cards which will help you on your way to attaining status. They're not as kind as hotel cards, like the Amex Platinum will just give you SPG Gold status, Hilton card will give you Hilton Silver or Hilton Gold status. It's not as good as that, but they'll generally make the requirements easier. So there are 2 or even 3 United Mileage Plus or Mileage Explorer cards, 2 normal ones, one for business, I believe. The basic one has a $95 annual fee. The more expensive one is a $450 annual fee, gives you United Club membership. They all give you things like business class check-in, priority boarding, etc. They don't actually give you status in the mileage program, but I believe they are placing you as you know, kind of a VIP. You're getting priority boarding, you're part of that group, you're getting priority check-in, so you're definitely probably higher on the list. But if you want to be sure about that, you really want to move up within the Mileage United, loyalty program. These cards can help you do that. The United Mileage Explorer card makes it basically easier for you to move up through the program. You don't have to spend as much money, etc. But they're not giving you free gold or silver status in that way. So to recap, guys, don't book the cheapest economy fare. Book one that's slightly more expensive, a bit more flexible. Check in as early as you can. Check in online if it's possible, 24 hours before or 48 hours before, however early you can. Be a member of a loyalty program. Always fly on the same airline so that you can try and build up status. If there's a credit card for that airline that will help you build up through the loyalty program, definitely get that. And there's also one more thing, is that try and fly on airlines that don't overbook as much. For example, JetBlue doesn't overbook anywhere near as much as United. Lastly, what are my thoughts on this? Well, I personally think that if United had already boarded those passengers, yeah, sure, they could tell them, if anyone is willing to give up their seat and we'll give you $1,000 like I think they did, and people were willing to do that, that's great. But no one was willing to take the $1,000 and give up their seat. I think they should have just left it at that, let those passengers fly. And, those 4 crew members who didn't get to that other airport to work on a flight, United should have just absorbed the loss for that. They should have got freelance, or contract cabin crew to work on that flight and resolve the situation themselves, just accepted they screwed up. You can't allow someone to get on a plane, think they're going to fly, and then tell them to get off. You can deny boarding at the gate, but you can't give someone something and then take it away from them and then beat the absolute out of them when they have a problem with it. That's just totally awful. Now, I'm going to boycott United for a little while. I'm not saying I'm going to never fly on United ever, but I think definitely for the foreseeable future, I'm going to avoid them. Don't worry, if you feel the same, you don't want to fly United anymore, but you have their credit card and their loyalty program, don't worry about it, because you can use those miles to fly on any Star Alliance airline. So you could still use your United, membership to collect miles on other airlines. You don't have to fly on United if you don't want to. Guys, what are your thoughts on this? Please leave your comments below. If there are any ways of how to avoid getting kicked off a flight that I've missed, please leave them in the comments. Don't forget, subscribe to our channel if you want more content like this, travel hacking and credit card advice, and we'll see you next time. Bye.